Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Reckless Paradise Podcast. I am your host, Dystro, and tonight's episode is another Throwback Thursday episode, and it is about Money in the Bank. Since Money in the Bank has come and gone, let's just kind of go over some of the best and worst Money in the Bank ladder matches, maybe competitors in records past and all that stuff. So yeah, let's just dive right on into it. So for those who do not know what that is, it is a ladder match that was first contested at WrestleMania 21, and a separate Money in the Bank pay-per-view was established later on. But the prize is a match. The prize in the match is a briefcase containing a contract for a World Championship match, which could be cashed in at any time within the next year. So the first one was at WrestleMania 21. After being invented in kayfabe by Chris Jericho, and it was only exclusive to Raw Superstars, with Edge winning the first one. From 2005 to 2010, the Money in the Bank ladder match would always open to, or were all open to all WWE brands, ECW, SmackDown, and Raw, and became a WrestleMania mainstay. 2010 saw a second and third Money in the Bank ladder matches when the Money in the Bank briefcase or Money in the Bank pay-per-view was debuted in July of that year. Along with the matches at WrestleMania, the new event featured two such ladder matches, one for Raw, one for SmackDown, and it was kind of like that for the last few years until 2014, and then it became just one briefcase for one superstar. I think usually it's like three for Raw, three for SmackDown, usually something like that. And it only just became with Seth Rollins winning that one. It kind of was aimed towards one or the other championship, but with the unification of the WWE and World Heavyweight titles, which became the WWE World Heavyweight Championship in December 2013, there was only one singular briefcase/contract in play. This went into effect beginning at the 2014 Money in the Bank pay-per-view after the reintroduction of the brand extension in 2016. There were two titles in the promotion again, but the 2017 Money in the Bank that year in 2017 was a SmackDown exclusive, and then it was announced on May 30th. It was announced that there was going to be the first ever women's Money in the Bank ladder match at that 2017 same pay-per-view. So it's kind of like they're trying to, I guess, they were giving the women more time on TV and more matches and all that stuff, which I actually kind of liked, because it gives women something else to fight for. So have some of the mainstay top people kind of going after certain things. Now you have people that are kind of on the mid to upper mid card being like, hey, we're gonna fight for this thing. And it started in 2005, and then it's ever so growing more and more and more every year. I think 2010 was 10-man. I think that was the biggest one that they had. And plus that was WrestleMania 26. Which some was okay, but it did have some I guess some hit or miss people. Edge was the first one, RVD was the second one. Edge was a two-time Money in the Bank winner. CM Punk was a two-time one. Jack Swagger, who would probably forget that. Kane cashed in on the exact same night. Then The Miz won in 2010 when he defeats Randy Orton for the championship. Alberto Del Rio, Daniel Bryan, John Cena, Dolph Ziggler, Randy Orton, Damian Sandow, who can't forget Damian Sandow, Seth Rollins, Sheamus, Dean Ambrose, Baron Corbin, who could we forget about that? But the list goes on and on and on at that point. And just recently, this past weekend, Rollins was a two-time Money in the Bank winner. Naomi just won her first ever Money in the Bank ladder match after being in so many of them fucking things, which is actually kind of cool to see. And the 2010 Money in the Bank was won by Kane and Miz, like I said, and then it kind of was kind of getting more about like getting dwindled down to like one singular person after at the end of 2013. Um, and then uh, Dean Ambrose won it, and then like I said, Carmella, she won the first ever women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Baron Corbin, Alexa Bliss, Braun Strowman, 2018, Bayley and Brock Lesnar. I don't want to talk about the Brock Lesnar one because fuck that. Asuka and Otis in 2020 when it was during the pandemic and all that stuff too. Um, Nikki ASH and Big E in 2021. Liv Morgan and Austin Theory, which when he was just Theory in 2022. Damian Priest and Io Sky in 2023. Drew McIntyre and Tiffany Stratton last year, and then Naomi and Rollins this year. So there has been some like, I guess if you want to call it like some hit or miss people over the years. Kane, like when he first won it, like he cashed in the exact same night on Rey Mysterio after his match with Jack Swagger. Um, Bryan would hold his until December 2011. Alberto held his till SummerSlam that year because that was what it was supposed to be, the summer of Punk, and we didn't get the summer of Punk. Um, Dolph Ziggler, he held his till the night after WrestleMania 29. Cena, he had his like cashed in ahead time to face Punk on Raw 1000. Damian Sandow, he cashed his in on Cena as well, but he was unsuccessful in his. Orton cashed in his at SummerSlam in 2013 after Bryan faced Cena for the World Championship and then won it, and then he lost it to Randy Orton that night. Rollins cashed in at Mania 31, the heist of the century, which Cole would always like say every year. Sheamus, he cashed his in at like Survivor Series 2015 that year. Um, who can forget that fucking shit show? Um, Ambrose cashed in his and the exact same night as well. That was like when Roman was champion, then Rollins defeated him for it, and then Ambrose cashed it in on Rollins, and then he won the championship and all stuff. So all three Shield members were champion and all that stuff. Who can forget that? Um, Carmella, she cashed in hers, I think, a few months later, because that was when Charlotte was champion, and she cashed it in on her. Baron like was unsuccessful. Bliss was like I think the exact same night when Ronda was still champion. Braun, he cashed in his at Hell in a Cell that year. That was when like Foley was like special guest ref or something. Um, Bailey, same thing, cashed in. I think later that night. I think. Brock Lesnar, God, like I can't remember what Brock's was like. I think he cashed in his like and was kind of like unsuccessful. I think in that regard. Um, Asuka, hers was just the Raw Women's Championship because Becky was leaving because she was pregnant at that time. Congrats to her. And then Otis, like he was unsuccessful in his because like he lost his to The Miz due to Tucker turning heel and all that stuff. Which is like the stupidest freaking thing. Um, Nikki ASH, I can't remember what happened to hers. I think it was like the next night she cashed in, and then Biggie. I think it was like the same thing. Um, I think Liv Morgan's was like I think the same night as Ronda's. I think too. Like that's funny that Ronda was cashed in on both times. Theory, he cashed in his on United States Championship, but was automatically forfeited because he was just Vince McMahon's bitch, I guess. Damien, he waited until Mania last year to cash in on that. and it was actually successful. And then Io, she held hers until SummerSlam, I think last year, and was successful in that. So that's actually kind of cool that we had two people that were from like previous year. It was like they cashed it in, and it was just actually successful. Um, Drew McIntyre, he cashed in his on, I can't remember if it, I think it was like Mania. I think it was Mania. I think, or no, it wasn't Mania. I can't remember what he did. I think I knew he cashed it in on somebody. And then Tiffany was like, she held hers for like a long time, and then trade Naya, and we got Tiffany Stratton is world women's champion now. Don't know when Naomi and Seth is gonna cash theirs in. But I'm thinking she's gonna cash in sooner or later on Tiffany Stratton. Because I think what they're doing right now is kind of like having Naomi going after Jade Cargill, and then we're gonna have Jade, Naomi, and probably Tiffany at some point. Don't know about Seth's. It's just his men's championship match contract, so he could just cash in on any point, and we'd be all okay with it. Um, I would say like the the best Money in the Bank ladder match I think to me is usually the first one, because it's just so timeless and it's Mania. I would just wish they would just have them at Mania every year, because it's you get a lot of people on the card that's really not on the card, and it's easy payday for everybody. Um, oh God, the I think the Money in the Bank concept is actually kind of cool. Like I said, it just gives people a chance to fight for something and actually give them like something to do. Um, because we would always see like Shelton Benjamin every single Money in the Bank ladder match just go crazy and just do like flippy shit and just do crazy freaking things off of ladders, on ladders, whatever. And he's always the instant highlight reel every year. Um, but then like like in later years, you would have like people like that were high flyers and all that stuff, like just do flippy shit off of ladders and all that stuff. Um, which is always kind of cool, but also you have all these dangerous spots that you would want to do. Um, man, it's like I think like the best person I would think it's like I think the best moment I should say was like when Biggie won Money in the Bank for the first time. It was actually a big, huge moment. Punk winning two times in a row, 2 years in a row was actually kind of cool moment. Rollins holding that briefcase until Mania 2015, which was the heist of the century. That was actually a good moment. Because a lot of people were just generally shocked. Um, Edge winning the first one, it's like that's a huge like stamp moment, like sort of thing where it's like Edge was already like a piece of shit heel at that point too. So it's like it's automatically like okay, like we got this guy who's a Money in the Bank cash in winner, and we just gotta do something with him. So like I think it was like Ziggler was talking about that, like when he won Money in the Bank, and then like they were like, oh yeah, well you're just gonna lose all the time, but you're still the Money in the Bank winner. Um, and then they cashed in on Alberto, and then like he loses like the title in like 2 months, which is like okay, like come on. But that just depends on like if they have their chips in one person and see if they can kind of like I guess carry the company on their shoulders in the wake of somebody. Um, but it's overall like to sum it up here, it's an overall good match concept, but I would just wish they would just put it on Mania and stuff, because like you have a good diverse men's division and women's division, on all of the brands, like Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Evolve, if you want to call it, and like it gives somebody to like it gives people a payday, it gives people put on the card, and like why not put it back on WrestleMania? Because like Money in the Bank pay-per-view, it's usually not for, there's only we always get 4 or 5 matches now, and usually sometimes WrestleMania there's a multi layered card, so it gives people something to fight for. And plus, keep doing the qualifying matches, keep that going, but give that match concept a bigger platform to have, because Money in the Bank pay-per-views, they're really not that special anymore. Mania is always special. Take notes, WWE. We're watching you. But that is all the time I have for today. Thank you very much for listening and or watching. If you made it to the end of this video, we really, really do appreciate it. And please make sure to follow us on all social media links in the description below, which will take you to our Reddit page, our Instagram pages, Twitter pages, my gaming YouTube channel is on there. And tonight's song of the night is... The song of the night is Silent Sleeps, or I think it's Silent Speaks. Silent Speaks, and from While She Sleeps, if I can get that right. Yes, it is While She Sleeps, and the song is Silent Speaks, featuring Ollie Sykes from Bring Me the Horizon, which is actually kind of cool. It is actually a group that I've actually kind of grew to know a little bit more. This is the only song that I can actually kind of know from them. But go give that a listen, and yeah, I will see you guys next Thursday for another episode. But we will have another Shoot the Shit episode coming up this Sunday. Hopefully you guys will come out and I guess show appreciation for the next upcoming Shoot the Shit episode. Is episode number 31, and that is it. I will see you guys, well, I guess this Sunday. Peace.